Well, hello there. My name is Jen Barkin. I am an online sales coach for Do You Convert? And welcome to Online People Talking, or OPT as we like to call it. This series is dedicated to you, the online sales new home specialist, all to enhance your careers and lives. We'll share real stories, solutions, challenges, all just for you. I am so excited to welcome our special guest today, Ms. Jessie Suggs, our
Hello,
new,
thanks for having me.
yes, our new online sales coach. In case you have missed our big news, Jessie Suggs joins us from Mungo Homes, which is a large regional builder based out of South Carolina. Jessie has been in the seat as an online sales specialist for the last 4+ years. She is an award winner. She's a two-time silver online sales consultant of the year for NAHB award winner. She was just named 40 under 40 by Professional Builder. She has won the regional award down in South Carolina, the Regal Awards for Online Sales Consultant of the Year as well in the past. And she is just so awesome. One really cool thing about her too, which I love, is that she has two dogs and now 10 chickens, I heard recently. Is that right, Jessie?
Yeah, 10. It's embarrassing, but yeah, 10 chickens. That's right.
6 big chickens and 4 little chickens. So
Yep.
I'm just fascinated by that because I want chickens at my house, but I think my dogs would eat them. But listen, guys, what I'm most excited about having Jessie join our team is that literally like 8 weeks ago, she was in your seat. She was in your seat, taking leads, calls, managing VIP priority list for over 100 communities. How many leads were you managing, Jessie, on average around that time, around each month?
Yeah, I think everybody on our team was managing 350 to 400 during this peak crazy season.
Yeah,
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 a lot.
yeah. So she brings that fresh perspective, to our team and able to talk to our clients and talk to you guys about, her perspective. And so that's why I wanted to have her on today to talk about, now that she's been on the coaching side of things for the last couple of months, I wanted to get her thoughts on some things. So I've got a few kind of hard questions for her, I think. We'll see how she does. I'm sure she's going to be awesome. But Jessie, so in the last few weeks that you've been talking with a lot of online sales specialists, what would you say has been the main like trending challenge across the board that you've heard?
Yeah, I would say both from, you know, other partners that we work with, as well as personal experience, just being in this seat a couple of weeks ago is just the market that we're in right now. No inventory, no lots, capped sales, no more appointments. What do we do with these people? How do we manage
Yeah.
the wait list and priority list? So that's probably top of the list.
Oh my gosh, totally. We could do a whole other opt-in session on priority lists. But that is definitely, yes, big challenge. We can't set appointments, or if we do set appointments, sales are capped, and we've got to put people on an interest list. What we will tell you about interest list is that the main key to that is communication with your sales leadership.
Yep.
It is not on the shoulders of the online sales specialist to come up with the plan for how you're going to manage the interest list. I think that's where we've seen a lot of people struggle is like, what am I supposed to say? You need to get dialogue help, from sales and say, hey, this is what we have going on. How should we do it? And listen, it's not one size fits all. It's coming up with a plan and sticking to it. And the role of the online sales specialist is managing the expectations of the interest list. We've heard, Jessie, like some people are like, yeah, somebody thought because they were on the interest list or the wait list, that meant they were guaranteed a home. And then they got mad when they didn't get a home. It was just a list. And it's like, yeah, because there wasn't proper expectation set. So making sure if you're putting somebody on a list, you're telling them what that means, what the next step is for them, and keeping them updated. Wouldn't you agree, Jessie? We got to get back to our farming roots.
Totally. Absolutely.
Do you convert? We always talk about the online sales specialist is the farmer and the on-site sales specialist is the hunter, right? We got to get back to we got to cultivate, we got to nurture those leads and those people on those wait lists. So that's really important. The other thing I just want to clarify really quick, and then I'm going to get off this subject, is we've had some people have confusion about I'm supposed to work off of one list. That's creating a headache. I don't know how to manage that. Let me just clarify. On-site can have their own list of people that they've already met with, that they've put on kind of the next stage of, I've met with you, we've determined this is going to work for you, now you're on a wait list. Online can have their own list as well of interest, people that they've talked to that they've moved onto a priority list of, as soon as we have lots available, I'm going to contact these people to get them to an appointment. So there's like 2 lists is okay, but then when the time comes to release lots or release a phase or something like that, that's when you guys got to come together and communicate and say, who's on your list? Who's on my list? Are we making one list? Are we combining efforts and calling these people? Like, what are we doing? So that's kind of what we mean when we say it's always best to work off of one list. So just keep the communication flowing. Okay. Now, Jessie, you mentioned limiting challenges of limited appointments, limited sales caps in some scenarios. So as online sales specialists, if we're not able to set appointments at this time, ouch, right? That's like a gut punch to us. Because that's our jam. We live to set appointments. So if we're not able to set appointments, how are we adding value to our organization? That's a big question. How are we adding value?
I'm so glad you asked that, because that's something that I've been talking with others in the industry about just recently, because it's been ingrained in us to just, when in doubt, send them out, just rapid fire appointments. That was how we contributed to our company. But I think it's changed. I know it's changed a little bit with no options. Do we send them out? Are the on-sites telling them the same thing that we're telling them? Essentially, we don't have anything right now, or there's just a whole bunch. So I think that we need to make sure that we're qualifying these leads more than we were before. So we don't need as many. We just need the right ones. So quality, maybe over quantity for appointments, is really, really important.
Write that down, y'all. Quality over quantity. It's not just about how many appointments we're setting. It's about the quality of appointments that we're setting. What else, Jessie? What other ways can we add value?
Yeah, well, when we're qualifying these folks, it's opening a door to conversation with them. So I think we need to take a little bit of extra time with each person and really figure out where they're at, so that we can either put them on the wait list or just rate them correctly in the CRM, so that we do know how to follow up with them in the right manner. But also informing them about the industry and the trends right now and how they're going to affect them personally and their purchase decision. And then just ultimately being authentic and transparent and telling these people, this is where we're at in the industry as a company. You are seriously looking at this neighborhood, but so are 10 other people right now, and we've got 3 lots. It's not urgency to get them to buy it, because we're trying to slow down sales, but it's just being genuine and honest with these people.
Yeah, don't be afraid to be completely transparent about what's going on. I love what you said too about like informing them about what's happening in the industry, guys. We've all been hearing it, lumber's crazy. There's so much going on with the cost of goods, delays, on construction, delays on getting the materials to build our homes, all of those things. As the front door of your organization, you have to know that stuff. You have to be in the know. Again, ask about it, ask leadership, ask production, find out what, is going on in your company and in your market. Have you guys seen the funny meme out there? If you have, where comment below, where it's the couple who's dressed up in fancy clothes, their hair's done, she looks beautiful. They're sitting at a table, like they're having a fine dinner with a candlelit dinner, and they're in a lumber warehouse. And it says, "Take me somewhere expensive." It just makes me laugh because, that's where we're at right now. A couple of other like nuggets of information that Jessie said, make sure the way that we're adding value, we're putting everybody in the CRM, because people's, situation changes. Our situation as a builder might change. If we're not collecting all of our interest and putting into our CRM, we're shooting ourselves in the foot later. So this is where your job is, 100% of the leads, 100% of the process, no lead left behind, we like to say. And then, Jessie, like managing those wait lists. Those are huge value adds to your organization. There's still plenty to do. If you're in a situation where you can't set appointments right now, there's still a lot to do. So just remember that. Okay, everything's constantly changing, right? I feel like every week we're hearing something new, Jessie, some new challenge, some crazy story. Today's story was Jessie and I were on a coaching call with a client partner. They said, okay, the latest thing is Elon Musk talks about, goes on somewhere and talks about publicly that people need to move to Brownsville, Texas to live next to or near SpaceX or whatever. So now we're getting inundated with calls of people saying, Elon Musk told me to and live here. And so they're dealing with this exorbitant amount of interest and demand and having the same conversations over and over again. And I loved what you told them, Jessie. You had a great idea. Like if they're fielding those same questions over and over again, what did you tell them?
Yeah, create a template. Anytime you're answering the same questions, put it in there. If they're asking how far from SpaceX is your neighborhood, give them a diagram. How far are the closest grocery stores? Give them some examples. Don't waste your time on a 30-minute phone call.
Yeah, gosh, I think about that, guys, with the same thing with managing the interest for the priority list. Anything that you are having to, it's like Groundhog Day, and you're having to have the same conversations over and over again. Take some time and do a template. Make sure you have FAQs, frequently asked questions on the website and in a template, anything like that. Again, that's a way to set the expectation up front on the website in an email, that kind of thing. But Jessie, that is a solution that you had to that issue. But there's some times where you're not sure what to do, and it can feel overwhelming with all of these new things that have come at us recently. So with things constantly changing, how do we adjust when we're not sure exactly what to do?
Yeah, I think we've all found ourselves in those shoes recently. With even what happened yesterday might be different than how you would answer something today.
Yeah.
What I would do and what I would recommend is do what you know. Contribute where you can. Go back to your roots. Qualify, be personal, add value. Just do what you know.
Yeah. Again, be a farmer. There's a lot of things that you cannot control in this role. You cannot control what happens on site. You cannot control your leads. You cannot control that customer who might be a little cranky right now. And can I get a high five if anybody's dealing with cranky customers right now? Because it's a different situation. They're scrambling. They're urgent, right? They're really having a hard time finding something right now. So we can't control all that. But what we can control is absolutely how we respond, how we manage that phone call. We can control the questions that we're asking. We can control what we're putting in our CRM system, how we're managing our leads, how we're following up with people. We can control all of that. And so I think that's really important. Focus on those things that you know to be true and never change. Those things never change. What else, Jessie?
Well, I think going back on what you were just saying is like going to our roots. One of the key principles of our job and what our value is to a company is the customer experience. So we're the front
Yes.
door to the organization. Like somebody told me years ago, and it's always been ingrained in my head when I start to get frustrated or flustered or confused on how to handle a situation. They said, your response is your responsibility. And so I take my job very seriously. And so it's my responsibility to respond in a manner that is going to put the customer first. And so if what you're doing isn't doing that, you're not adding value to your company, because that is the most important thing to do. And sometimes
Love
it's
that.
not the easiest. I think we all know sometimes when you've got
Yeah.
these people, in your ear, they're confused, they're frustrated, they don't know what to do in this market. And it's your job to inform them and give them everything that you know and everything that you can.
Yeah.
But another way that you can also, respond in conversation is do what we've learned through training with Do You Convert is pivot. We know how to pivot a conversation. We know how to switch what we're asking. If they ask us a question, ask a question in return. That's kind of the rule. But you have to do the same in your head. I mean, you have to pivot how you think about something and your mindset, and know that just because you did it a year ago doesn't mean that's the right way to do it now. So
I love that.
Just kind of shift.
Yeah. Focus and pivot. Focus on the things that you can control and that the core fundamentals, right? And pivot. Just remember how to pivot conversations, pivot your mindset. I love that, because things are changing on the reg. Yeah, I love that. Okay, last question for you, which you have a lot of experience with. When you were at Mungo Homes, you guys grew your team from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. I think now 6 people are on a team over there. And so I think, a lot of people have grown their teams in this last year. We've at Do You Convert, we've seen, a lot of hiring happen. Some people getting out of the position and other people coming in. And so if you listening have found yourself in a new team dynamic or scenario, listen up, because Jessie, I wanted to ask you, what are some things that they should be thinking about, as they have a new team member?
Yeah. If you're anything like me, you put everything you have into a program. It's your baby. You want it to succeed. And what happens when someone who thinks and works differently than you comes in? Good things happen. I'll tell you that. I'll just start by telling you that, because different mindsets and different ideas bring value to the position, different ways of thinking about something. But not only that, you have some flexibility with your time. You get to make a schedule. And I know a lot of you are probably wondering, like, how does this affect me? How does it affect my leads and my income? And from personal experience, I can tell you that it's wonderful. You get, a better balance between work and life, but you also get some time off. It's hard to disconnect sometimes when you are really committed to the position. But if your tank isn't full, you can't give back the way that you should. So finding the importance in that, I think is really cool.
I love that. So instant backup plan. You have a partner in crime, I think is what you like to say, Jessie. It's you feel a little bit like you're on an island in this position, but when you have a teammate, you guys can tackle things together. Lead management, we get sometimes questions about like, well, it's my lead, but like my partner got it. Like, whose lead is it? Jessie, how did you guys handle that when you had, you were each managing a lead at the same time or something like that.
Yeah. Well, that all kind of ties back to what I was saying with time off. That's going to happen. It's bound to happen when you're off and your lead's calling in and wants to schedule an appointment. You are their partner in crime and they're yours. So you schedule the appointment for them. You handle it
Yeah.
just like you would if it was your lead, and they get credit, and vice versa. It all comes out in the wash.
Yeah, I love that. You scratch each other's back. And again, it goes back to that customer experience at the forefront. We don't want to say, hey, Jessie will get back to you on Monday when she returns, from her vacation. No, we want to handle that appointment for her right then. Okay, great. Well, Jessie, you guys can see why we love Jessie so much. Thank you so much for all of this wisdom that you have shared with us today. I loved it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Yeah, I've got some fun questions now for you.
Okay.
How do you prevent burnout? Like, what's your go-to way to recharge?
Yeah. Well, having been in the seat for a number of years, I found myself kind of wrestling with this because it's a fine line between being committed and knowing your boundaries. And everyone has to learn it on their own. But from my experience, I have found really disconnecting for a couple of minutes, even throughout the day. Doesn't mean every day, just those days where you're feeling like, if my phone rings one more time, I'm going to throw it across the room. And we all get there sometimes, but
Oh my gosh, who's feeling like that right now?
I'm sure a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it's crazy what a couple of minutes disconnecting can do. And that doesn't mean going from your computer and looking down at your phone and scrolling through social media. That still feels the same to the brain. It's getting outside, getting some sun, drinking some water, playing with your dogs or your chickens, doing what just brings a little bit of joy to you. Yeah. That's kind of the day-to-day, refresher. But in general, I really enjoy working out. So it gets me out of my seat, especially if I have to be there at a certain time in the afternoon. It makes me disconnect from work. So that's another way.
Yeah, and you can't answer calls while you're huffing and puffing working out, right? So it forces it. So intentional breaks and exercise, huge. Okay, what are you currently reading?
I actually just finished a book I was telling you about earlier this week. I just finished it yesterday, and it's Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. Fantastic book.
Yeah. So Jessie was telling me a story about red lights, yellow lights, green lights, and it really resonated with me as far as online sales. Jessie shared with them what you were telling me.
Yeah, it's no spoilers. It's on the cover. It tells you just a quick summary of the book. But it's about how life presents you green lights, where in life you just get to go ahead and things are pretty easy, but it also presents you inevitably red lights and yellow lights where you're just kind of slowed down or stopped dead in your tracks and you don't know what to do. And some of us might feel like that right now with how do I handle work? And it just tells you that those red lights in time and with purpose also turn green eventually. So it's all temporary. So,
love that. Yeah. Temporary, really guys. Temporary. There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
What series are you currently watching on Netflix?
So I'm rewatching You, the
gosh.
creepy show. Yeah.
That is so good. If you guys have not watched that, check it out. If you like thrillers, have you seen when the new series is coming out?
I think soon. I haven't looked it up, but I heard it's in the next week or two. So I'm trying to go back and
if anybody knows when the next series is out, comment below because I can't wait for that. It's gonna be so good. It ended like on a cliffhanger. Okay, what's one tip or trick for online sales that you love, that you would love to share?
Sure. Over time, I feel like it's learned. So you find what works for you. But one thing that worked for me personally is finding the value in video emails. At first, I was like very kind of standoffish to video emails because I hated the way that I sounded and the way that I looked on camera. But when I saw the response from the people who got them, how special they felt and how they had never seen something like that before. And then found value in it as well. So
Yeah.
I utilized it in quick responses. Sometimes it's quicker than sending a typed out email. But also even using it in a process, like I would specifically use it in my appointment process. So 2 days before the appointment, I would send them a templated video, just very general saying, hey, our on-site's looking forward to meeting with you for your appointment. If you have any questions in the meantime, let me know. And my no-show rate actually improved because no one likes to cancel or no-show on a person. So that's just a little tidbit.
Yeah. So it was a template, wasn't anything personal in it, but it looked and felt personal. Love it. That's like that little things you can do to make a big impact. And I think we all need a little bit of that right now. Okay. If you could go back in time to your brand new online sales self, what advice would you give?
Probably just like I just said, try new things. Don't be afraid of things that make you uncomfortable. Don't be afraid of changing things if they don't work for you, and just keep it fresh.
Yeah. Try new things. Love it.
Yeah.
It can feel a little stale sometimes, right? In this position. So trying new things, even if it's just adding in a new step in your process or, changing up how you do a video email or something like that. It can kind of refresh and reinvigorate you. I love that, Jessie. Jessie, thank you so much. This was awesome. I really appreciate you sharing your insights. If you guys love Jessie, give her some hearts, smash some hearts her way. You'll be seeing and hearing a lot more from her. Before we go, I did want to give you guys a quick little update. We've got several events coming up over here at Do You Convert? The first of which we've got our Online Sales Academy. Ooh, that is coming up in June 23rd through 25th specifically. Now, you might be wondering, is this for me? What is the Online Sales Academy? The Online Sales Academy is for brand new online sales specialists who have not had any sort of formal training, that you're looking for the fundamentals to set up your online sales program. Or maybe it's a builder who maybe has had the program for a little while, but again, doesn't have any structure or needs some help with the fundamentals and the basics and setting up your program. This is for you. Mike and I are with you for 3 days of intensive learning. We stay with you for an additional 2 months after that with live virtual training, webinars. We give you all of the comprehensive materials that go along with. We put you through our online sales bootcamp program. And at the end, you get an actual certificate, a legit certification that you could even put on your LinkedIn. It's really a pretty awesome program. And we keep it limited to about 15 people. We like to keep it small and intimate because we really go deep and dive in with you. So that is coming up. If you are interested, you need to make sure you go to the doyouconvert.com page and go to the events page, and you can sign up to be on the list so that you get registration information. Okay, so that is happening right now. We also have Market Proof Marketing Academy. That's happening in June too. And we have our Online Sales Summit that is going to be in person this year in August. It's going to be in Dallas. And so there's also information on that. Online Sales Summit is both marketing and online sales. We come together and it's 2 separate tracks. You can kind of choose your own adventure. If you are a marketing professional, you can go on the marketing track. And if you're an online sales specialist, you can go on the online sales track. And I don't know about you, Jessie, but I am so excited to be able to rub elbows and fist bump and give hugs and see people in person. So that's going to be in Dallas. Again, all of this information is on our website, doyouconvert.com, along with all of our free resources, which we love to provide to you. Blogs, webinar information, recordings, opt-in episodes, market proof marketing episodes, all of that is there for you. Thank you so much for joining us and watching Opt-in today. And thank you, Jessie. It's been awesome having you on and talking with you. And we will see you soon. Take care, everybody.